Hi, everybody, and welcome to Fitness Coaching with Lois. I'm Lois, your host from Fitness Coaching. We are a mobile personal training service coming right to your home, whether it's in person, where we physically knock on your front door, or virtually over the internet. We are running one-on-one personal training as well as small group classes. We are talking about exceptional habits of exceptional people, and basically accountability, routines, and time management today. And our next episode is going to be talking about aging gracefully in April, so stay tuned for that one. I'm going to have a great physical therapist on talking about how to make sure that your body's staying good, no matter if you're 30, 40, 50, or beyond. And today I have the pleasure of introducing my new friend. We've been friends for only a few months now. I feel like we've been friends forever. Kate Conroy, who is the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, which is, if you didn't know this and I didn't know this, the largest employer-based business association in the US. They were voted that right in January, right? So exciting. And she has a responsibility to maintain overall management within the company and making sure that there's sponsorship and leading company-wide cross-department cultivation of relationships with sponsors and partners. So Kate, thank you so much for coming and joining me today. How are you doing?
Hi, Lois. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to be here. As you know, I have a podcast, but I've never actually been a guest on somebody else's show. So this is it's kind of a big deal for me.
Awesome. I'm so glad to be your first. And thank you so much for joining us today. And those of you watching at home, if you have any questions specifically for myself or for Kate, you can email them in. I'll give you my email, which is lmm@fitnesscoachingllc.com, and I will forward them over to Kate, and we'll get back to you with any questions. Unfortunately, this is a recording, which is unusual for me. Normally I do live video, but Facebook isn't cooperating with us today, which is fine. Whatever. We're going to move on with it. So, Kate, you know, I heard from Business Insider magazine, I read this maybe a year or two ago, that the 7 habits of exceptionally wealthy people include things like rising early in the morning and exercising on a daily basis, making time for lunch, knowing when to quit. All things that I think many of us, whether we're working for ourselves or we're working for other people, struggle with this. And I'm excited to have you in because you get to meet such a variety of business owners. You get to meet like the solo entrepreneurs, people that have some employees, to people that have big companies. So I feel like you're a great person to talk to about getting the things that we need into place, whether we're a business owner or working for somebody else, to make sure that we don't get stuck in those time traps. So, and especially, of course, learning how to get better at it. And I know for me, this is something I struggle with on a day-to-day, and especially right now in the pandemic that we're in. And I don't want to talk too much about COVID-19, but it's a scary time. And maintaining our routines, maintaining our individual accountability and time management, I feel like right now is so hard that I can't wait to hear some of the tips that you have for us today. So yeah, so what's new? I mean, like I know that you were planning on going on a really cool trip.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's
what happened with that. Are you going still, or?
Well, so I had 2 trips planned in May and a visitor in April. My mom was supposed to visit. I grew up in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and my mom visits at least once or twice a year, and we'll do a whole New York trip, and it's really fun. She was supposed to come middle of April, and that was just canceled. And then in May, I was supposed to go to Vegas for a weekend in the middle of the month, and that was just canceled. And I'm supposed to go to San Francisco at the very end of the month, and I'm sort of waiting to hear what happens. I'm expecting not to be able to go, but who knows? I mean, it's annoying, but I mean, perspective, right? Like, I'm healthy, I've got a roof over my head, the rent is paid, like I've got 2 cats who keep me company. They're just, life is good. I'm fine.
We have a working computer, which
Yes, and Wi-Fi.
I feel like if this was like even 20 years ago, if
Oh
this
God.
happened, what would
I
it have
can't.
been like? Like, would we have been able to, as a society, like sustain this? I really, I don't know how many businesses would have been affected even more than today had we not had in place things like Zoom. Like Zoom I don't know how old Zoom is, but it wasn't invented yet. And here we are being able to be face to face.
Correct.
I'm not sure how old you are. I'm 41. And when I was in high school, like when I had my first cell phone, it was like $40 a month for.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm older than you. And at one point, I was in graduate school in Savannah, Georgia, could barely afford cable, like didn't have the bells and whistles. It was basic cable. Had like the very basic phone plan. It was a wall phone. We didn't have cell phones yet.
Yeah.
And it was like long distance, when long distance was like $20 a minute.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now we have like unlimited data. Like you
It's
can
like a gift, right?
as much as you want on your cell phone, which is like beyond, like this cute little thing has more storage and stuff. But anyway, so we can be nostalgic another time.
Yes.
Sure. But it's pretty cool that we have this ability, this capability to be able to work from home and still survive and thrive. Many businesses are thriving in this industry, but a lot of people are hurting. So let's talk about how you suggest that we all stay accountable to time. You said some really cool things. So before that, let me ask you like what your daily routine looks like.
Oh, yes.
Now. In this climate, like what's your daily routine look like? What do you do when you wake up in the morning?
So I'm a pretty early riser. When in normal times I'm awake by 5:30, 5:45.
Okay.
And I've pushed that a little bit just because I don't need to drive anywhere to get to work. So I'm getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I do about a 10-minute meditation. And for those of you out there who are saying, I can't meditate, I've tried over and over, I failed at it, I'm a failed meditator, it doesn't work for me, I feel your pain. I felt exactly that way until a year ago almost. I read a book, and the premise of the book is basically, it's okay if your brain doesn't turn off. It's not supposed to turn off. Just let it go. Just continue to try to repeat the mantra. And you can keep a clock, peek every once in a while to see where you're at with time. It doesn't have to be some 100% Zen experience. Let it go. Just experience it. Experience the meditation as it comes to you, and it's all fine. That changed my life. Now I meditate every day for about 10, 15 minutes, usually not longer than 15 minutes. And I use the time to just think about the things that I'm grateful for, think about the things that I need to do for the day, wake up a little bit, think about any dreams that I had that I'm still thinking about, sort of process whatever feelings and emotions are kind of tied up in the dreams that I had. It's kind of awesome. I love the meditation, and I never thought that that's something that I would say. And here's a bonus. If you, like me, like to travel, it eliminates jet lag. Like, secret. That's a secret little bonus.
You can get back to traveling.
Seriously, yeah, sorry. But if you meditate for 10 minutes before takeoff and 10 minutes when you land, no jet lag. It's amazing.
That's pretty incredible. So after you meditate, what's next?
After I meditate, I take a walk. I take a 30-minute walk around my neighborhood, have a little breakfast, and then by 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm sitting down at my laptop, I'm opening my email, and I'm starting to bang out work. And when I bang out work, I look at the inbox, and often I will do like from bottom to top, so chronologically, how messages came in. Except for anybody in my inbox who's like a VIP, like my direct boss, she's a VIP. If she's emailed me overnight, she gets first come, first serve. That's not how that works. She gets the first of my attention in the day. Right. Or her boss. Anybody like higher up the food chain than me, they get first crack at it. Otherwise,
I love that you have a system.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't really have a system, especially with email. And I feel overwhelmed often with email. And I know a lot of people, I have a friend of mine who literally just had a baby last night. And she told me that she has like 10,000 unread emails. And I'm like, 10,000? That's an absurd amount.
I like how you did this because it makes me itchy. It makes me feel itchy to hear that. So there's a system for that as well, in my humble opinion. I do a sort by who it's from, and anything that's even remotely junk, even news, all of that stuff just gets thrown into a maybe later folder. And then I'll reverse sort by chronological or anything like that, because 10,000 is just too many. That's
so you have actual files in your email that are specifically designated. That's awesome. I think that's a wonderful takeaway for people to organize that. That's great. That's awesome. So what do you do, like when you say, how do you stay accountable to time? You know,
sure.
you mentioned on the phone when we first started chatting about this talk that you said that self is the glue that holds everything together. And I love that. It's such a great, I see it like sit like in a thing with your name on the bottom, like on my daily accountability calendar.
Yeah,
like that's something that I need to hear.
It's true. So like if you picture life as like a big circle and you've got 3 pieces of pie in the circle, the first piece of pie is work, the second is play, and the third is love. And so love is like family, it's relationships, it's your spouse, it's your kids, it's your parents, it's whatever. Play is extracurriculars, and work is work, right? And you are the glue that holds all of that together. So when it comes to work-life balance, whenever things are starting to get a little bit out of whack, I can tell immediately because my anxiety just goes through the roof. If I haven't talked to my parents in more than a week, I start to feel nervous. Like, what's going on with them? Why can't I? What's happening? Same with my siblings. Same with some like really good friends. I talk to my best friend daily, and I do it when we take our walk. We walk together, and that's our time to connect and say, how was your day yesterday? What's going on with your life? How's your kid?
Awesome that you guys live that close, that you have the ability to do that.
No, we live like 300 miles away. We call each other.
What? See, technology again? I'm thinking like she's your neighbor.
No,
because didn't you grow up in like the Minnesota?
I grew up in the Twin Cities, in Minnesota, and she lived in upstate New York.
Okay. I'm sorry for calling it middle state.
That's
I'm
okay.
not great with geography.
Me neither.
It was not my good class.
It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, I believe that whenever one of those pieces of pie in the circle gets out of whack, I can feel it in my body. And one of the things that has happened to me so many times, it's bizarre. Whenever I get really aggressive and I start to stack my calendar too hard, I'll look at my week or my day and I'll think to myself, why did I do that? That's not gonna work. Something needs to cancel. Something needs to cancel. And as soon as I put that thought out into the universe is like, okay, I got you, no problem. We'll still cancel some. I don't understand how it works. I just know that as soon as I start to think to myself, this is too much, we need to cancel something, or something needs to cancel, it'll happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I am the one calling the person to say, hey, I got to cancel this, I got to move this, or whatever. The universe just handles it for me.
Yeah, I can relate that to
You
that.
Can?
Yes, I do the exact same thing. I call it, there's actually a theory behind future visioning. And when you're envisioning your future a certain way, it can magically happen. You have control. There's theories and actual
manifesting. Yes.
Manifesting like instantly. And it's pretty magical. And it's pretty cool that you can think about the future that you want to have and go and grab it. Because there's a thought process that a good friend of mine, her name is Valerie Lemmy. She's a future visioning practitioner. And she teaches people on how to harness that for many aspects of your life. So if you have that much power in being able to say, you know what, I don't want you, something needs to go.
Yeah.
And it's not the universe doing it, it's you doing it. And you can actually control a lot more of your life than you think. And when we're going into negative emotions that like we're not releasing those emotions. I think we talked about this too. Not releasing those negative emotions, or positive emotions, it really hurts you. So when you're actively saying, you know what, I'm overwhelmed right now and something needs to go, who's leaving off my calendar, and it goes, it's like this absolute release. So being okay with that when stuff falls off your calendar. And I actually learned from this gentleman who will remain nameless, but it may be someone that we all know in common, who's from my network. And he got really angry with me one day for being late to an appointment with him. And it was like a comedy of errors. And I took responsibility. I called him, I apologized, and he wrote me off. And he was really angry. And I said, you know what? I'm like, I feel really bad that he's so angry, but what can I learn from this? And I said, okay, I can learn that I've been a little unkind when people cancel on me at the last minute, and I need to be more aware of that. So it made me focus on what I can do to control how I react to the situation versus getting upset that he was upset with me, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Like that initial defensive, like, well, I'm sorry, but this is the series of events. It wasn't my fault, and it happens. Like shit happens sometimes. Pardon my French. But but there is something really, really powerful in owning it, and the words, I think I might owe you an apology, are so powerful. They immediately put the person who's annoyed or who might be annoyed, they're immediately like, what you do? It's such a, those are magical words. I firmly believe that.
Oh yeah, no matter what relationship it is, whether it's business or personal.
Yes.
Owning when you're wrong is, I think, a great thing to being accountable to yourself, because, you know, many of us, and I know we have very similar qualities in many respects. The whole wanting to have like perfection, right?
Yeah.
Perfect is not possible, really. I mean, it's a journey towards a destination. And,
yes,
you know, when it comes to your health and when it comes to your work and when it comes to your personal life and relationships and those things, like perfect isn't, so done is better than perfect.
Yeah, that's way better than perfect. I think Brene Brown calls herself a recovering perfectionist. I love that.
That's really good. That's a really good thing. Now I know that you're into like your self-worth and self-help, and you think those are important. Why do you think those are important?
Because if it doesn't all start with making sure that you're in a good and healthy place, how can you possibly be a good friend, a good wife, a good spouse, a good parent, if you are not coming at life in a place of happiness? I think happiness is a choice. And if you're not constantly thinking to yourself, how can I be better? How can I make this world a little bit better? Am I feeling okay? Do I need to process any feelings? Like, you are the glue that holds all of that together. And if you're not coming at life from a healthy place, how can you be the glue? They're all just gonna disintegrate, right?
Yeah, so you have to be the best you can be in order to take care of other people. Another good friend of mine, her name is Connie Pizarro. She owns Oasis Senior Advisors. And she said, and I quote, 50%, 50, this is a staggering statistic, of people who are caretakers die before the person they're taking care of.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous?
So if you want to be the best yourself to help other people, you have to take care of numero uno.
It's such a cliche almost at this point. I've seen it as a meme so many times, but you have to put your own mask on before you can help somebody else put their mask on.
Yeah. And that's right now with COVID.
Oh my God.
You can't take care of a sick person if you're sick.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So taking care of yourself. You know, the amount of time that we're here on Earth is finite. and but we all have the same number of hours per week. So maintaining that. Yeah. It's
Choosing
not like when Oprah gives everybody a car and like you get the Volvo and you get the Mercedes. Like, no, everybody gets the same number of hours. So we all have to do what we can within those hours to maintain.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Oh my goodness. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. So what do you do for yourself to stay accountable?
Oh, so
It's kind of hard right now. Everybody's home. Like, yeah, maybe your boss is checking in with you and stuff from a work perspective, but like,
so here's how I feel about that. Yeah. I have a boss. Everybody has a boss. Even if you're self-employed, you have a boss. It's your customers or your employees or whoever.
yeah, you're answering to someone.
Right. Exactly. So my feeling though is that during any time of slowdown, you have a choice. Do you want to do the stuff that has to happen now? Or do you want to do the stuff that has to happen when things get back to normal and your plate is overloaded and it all still has to happen? I'm a big nerd. I love Excel. So I have an Excel spreadsheet where I keep track of all of my touches for the month. And so I've been in sales a pretty long time. I'm not going to say how long, but pretty long time. And I have learned that once you are doing something long enough and you have recorded proactively how many touches it takes to make your goal at the end of each month, because we all have goals, then it's just a matter of math. Then every single month from then on, all you have to do is hit that number or exceed them if you want to do something in addition. If you work on commission and you want to buy a new car and you need a little bit more money, exceed your touch goal, and then you'll exceed your regular goal. And then it's just, so I have not stopped tracking my touches for the month. I have the Excel spreadsheet. It's the first thing I do every morning. And I consider a touch to be a call, an email, or a face-to-face.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So just curious, would you share that with us? I'd love to see, like, maybe not a full, like, one that's like filled up, but I'm sure you have like the basic.
Totally. In fact,
I know that would be something valuable for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure tons of business owners would love to have something like that, to be able to hold themselves accountable. Now, one platform I know doesn't necessarily work good for everyone, but at least if they see one that's like been working for you, maybe they can find something that works for them. But I think finding something that works and being honest and saying, you know what, the reason why I didn't hit my goal this month wasn't because of COVID-19. It was because I stopped networking. I stopped making phone calls. I went under the covers and pretended like it wasn't going to go away.
That's correct. And here's the thing about the monthly touch goal, because you could say, okay, in August, I went to this work conference at the beginning of the month and I went on vacation at the end of the month. So I only really had 2 good weeks of touching. So it's not my fault. Like I didn't hit the goal. It's not my fault. The thing about that is there are 12 months in the year and you can overcompensate in January. You could overcompensate in March. You can overcompensate to make sure that there is no shortfall at the end of the year. It's not, if you're going to have a conversation with yourself that starts with, it's not my fault, that's not going to end well, that conversation, because you're not interested in taking accountability or taking responsibility for your own actions, even with yourself. And that's
being a victim.
Yes.
And giving yourself this self-pity. Oh, nobody's taking care of me.
Right. It's not my fault. I don't know what you expect of me.
Blame me.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah, you have
to take responsibility and be honest.
Oh my God.
Another great takeaway.
That's exactly right. Be honest.
I love that. I love that.
If you can't be honest with yourself at the very, very least, who do you have? Who else is there?
Yeah.
There's I don't know. if you're not honest with at least yourself, every other conversation is going to be excruciating.
So someone told me this, and I'll share it with you. You need to be brutally honest with yourself and tactfully honest with others.
I love it. I've heard that as well, and I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, that was from a being called Lazarus, and I listened to a lot of meditations by it. And
Yeah.
it brings a lot of information and a lot of forward thinking, and I'm a big fan of that. Wow, this was amazing. I got so many great takeaways for myself. I'm sure that those people that are watching got amazing takeaways. I hope you did. And if you have questions for Kate, you can absolutely reach out. And like I said, you can email me and I'll forward them off to Kate. But Kate, you mentioned earlier in our conversation, the last time we spoke, about the NJBIA, the company you work for, the organization, having their 6th annual Women's Business Leadership Forum.
Yes, you got it.
Can you tell us more about that and maybe how people can get more information?
Absolutely. So the website is njbia.org/WBLF2020 as in.
Okay, so say that one more time a little slower so people can grab a piece of paper and write it down or grab their phone. And so it's
njbia.org/WBLF2020.
Okay.
And it is currently the largest professional women's event in the state of New Jersey. It's our 6th annual in September. The date is September 10th and 11th. We start it with networking on the beach on a Thursday evening. We hold it at Ocean Place Resort in Long Branch.
Nice.
And then Friday morning, we start with like a wellness, yoga, sunrise kind of thing. And then we do the networking and the program. 2 years ago, our keynote was Bobby Brown. And last year, our keynote was one of the co-founders of Rent the Runway. So this event is just staggering. It is very highly produced. It is excellent content. In the morning, the tracks are based on where you are in your career. So there's a track for C-suite, there's a track for young professionals, and there's a track for folks in the middle of their careers. And then after lunch, the tracks are based on skill sets. So there's something on negotiation, there's something on communication, there's one for women who want to jump into politics. It is phenomenal.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing event. So what we'll do also is we're going to drop that link into the top. So you can look that up. That sounds like something that I definitely want to attend, and I suggest those of you that are watching definitely attend. So Kate, thank you so much for being on with us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone at home for watching, and stay safe and stay accountable and get those routines going. And we will see you again in April. The end of April is our Aging Gracefully talk with our physical therapist. So thank you again so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thanks everybody, bye.
Can you hear me?
Do not hear you. What the?
I know, right? I don't understand this at all. I don't.
So annoying. You can hear me.
Audio, rename, pin video. I don't.
Are you there? Hello? Talk again.
I don't know.
Oh. You're not going to believe this.
Jesus.
My volume wasn't all the way up.
Wait, what? You can hear me? That is the best news I've ever heard. I'm so glad, because I'm like thinking to myself, I have more Zoom calls to make. What am I gonna do? Go back to using the phone like a loser?
Did you check your volume, Lois? No.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.